how do you look at this OTT versus theater release? अपने आप को register भी करा पाना आसान नहीं है, but somehow you managed to do that.
I remember from 500K, I shot up to 1.5 M.
Instagram.
Yeah, because of
Khuda Haafiz.
Khuda Haafiz. Though I used to look at Salman sir like he was my crush since I was a child. I used to actually shy away from him. But I used to speak to him like the way I used to speak to everybody else. So he used to be very amused with me. Oh wow, okay, she talks to the spot boy also the same way. She talks to me also the same way. Hi, I'm Shivaleeka Oberoi and you are watching me on Bollywood Hungama.
आज हमारे साथ में शिवालिका ओबरॉय, इनकी जो विंसम पर्सनालिटी है बहुत ही कमाल की है. खुदा हाफिज 2 हैज़ जस्ट रिलीज और मैं डेफिनेटली मैं कहना चाहूँगा, मैं इनको कुछ आई थिंक 2-3 साल से मैं जानता हूँ और इनकी जो इंस्टाग्राम का जो पर्सोना है उसमें आपको अगर कभी भी अगर आपको इफ़ यू आर फीलिंग लो, जस्ट गो टू हर पेज एंड यू विल कम आउट bright and chirpy and happy. Pleasure having you back with us on Bollywood Hungama.
Thank you so much. That's such a sweet thing to say. Yeah, it's
But
all
you know,
about being happy.
I think the sort of world that we're living in with so much of, I think, strife all around, war and I think, differences and polarization. I think it's very important that that you have people in the world who actually give you that level of positivity. So I think आप एक social service कर रही हैं. कुछ आप बताएं social service के बाद.
No, I truly believe that you should be around people who either are supporting you or giving you that happiness and positivity in whatever small way they can. Everything's become very negative suddenly. Like I feel like people like kind of think everything is a competition now. So for me, I tend to kind of be the kind person that they would want in their life, even if they don't know me. Some way I want to touch people's life.
No, I think definitely. I think you're doing it, and the best part is that you tend to come across as someone who's doing it genuinely, which is, I think, always a positive sign. तो इतनी कम उम्र में इतनी समझदारी आई कहाँ से?
It's the early working, I would say. I started working when I was 16. You know my story, being an AD to becoming an actor. I think that is what has changed me. Like I was speaking to somebody the other day, and I feel like Nargis ki jo hai journey, it's been the same way. I was innocent back then, didn't know anything about the world. When I actually started working, experiences changed me and got me into the person that I am today.
What sort of experiences?
Good, bad, everything.
So tell us
mostly good. But I think those bad ones have actually kind of got me where I am today.
Bad
like I have pushed myself, like how rejections and kind of just giving auditions back to back, things not working out for whatever reasons. Like like it's very tough. It's very tough. And it's been a journey. Like लोगों को लगता है कि आपने AD का काम कर लिया एक बड़े से प्रोडक्शन में तो आपको वहीं से काम मिल जाएगा. ऐसे नहीं होता, बहुत काम करना पड़ता है उसके बाद.
अभी रिसेंटली मैंने करण जौहर का इंटरव्यू किया था, तो फिर मैंने उनसे पूछा कि दैट हाउ वुड यू डिफाइन से नेपोटिज्म, सो ही सेड इट इज ओवर डिस्कस्ड. तो अभी हम कैसे देखेंगे, अब जैसे आपका भी एक फिल्मी कनेक्शन आपका है.
Don't discuss this with me.
So does it help or
I don't have any filmy connection. What filmy connection?
I think your grandfather was.
Yeah, he was, but he passed away when my dad was 17 years old. So he had just produced a film back in the 1960s, and he was producing his second when he passed away. So my dad was very young. He had no knowledge about the whole production thing. So I think all of that went away with him. Like none of us are in the same industry. Like I'm the only one. My dad does something else. My mom is in the educational background. My sister's a lawyer. So all of us are doing different things.
Right.
In fact, my mom didn't want me to get into the industry. She had clearly told me it's very unpredictable. It's tough. People are tough on you. Make sure that you are not.
You are not tough on other.
Tough on
That's a
yourself.
very
Tough on
good advice.
yourself.
Tough on yourself. Okay, that's a good advice.
So yeah, I feel like I think that's how things went ahead. She let me do what I wanted to do. In fact, I got to know about my grandfather about being in the industry after I joined Active Affairs.
Okay, all right.
So only after I was in SNDT. So they had the same wall. Active Affairs and SNDT had the same wall.
Right.
So I used to always wonder, acting school में करते क्या है? Like how can you teach somebody acting? I kept pestering my mom that I want to go see, and my mom, that is when she told me that I'm covering you in this situation. It's because your dada was in this and everything, and there's a lot of pressure. So I was like, okay, let me see. She's like, okay, you do what you want to do. And then I started ADing and all, and then she thought I would never wake up before 10.
अच्छा लगता है. So what
But
time
it
do you,
was
what
6
time
to
do you,
6. So
you
I
generally
used to
wake up
take
now?
a bus now, so it's very early. But I used to take a bus at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to Juhu. So she saw me do all that and she's like, okay, she'll manage.
So she's serious about what she's doing.
Yeah.
एक बहुत ही दिलचस्प सा एक I think concoction होता है from whatever experience I have in terms of observing people say within the film industry and the entertainment space कि एक तरफ तो जो कि आपके अंदर है कि that you have that ease and carefree element and fun and chirpy and all those elements, but at the same time you have to be very focused in terms of your diet and your exercise and जैसे rejections की आपने बात कही तो you have to have that tenacity and perseverance. So it's a very unique sort of blend that you have to come across as carefree. At the same time you have to be very focused. बहुत ही unique सा mixture है ये.
People don't really like how people say that behind a happy face there's a lot that people deal with. It is true. So I do come across happy, and I come across happy because I'm actually happy. But there are days when it's really bad. So I think everybody goes through those days. After COVID, though, it's become even more because the industry is in a very dicey situation right now. Some films are working, some films are not. So yeah, like I think you have to have that patience, and more than anything, you keep working on yourself every day. Like days are going to get better. That's the only way to look at it.
That's a very good way of looking at it as well. Okay, now जो आपका experience आपका रहा है within the film industry so far, आपकी पहली film you got really good appreciation for your performance. Second film आपकी OTT पे आपकी आई and it did well. So Khuda Haafiz 2 has just released. It's come out in theaters. Theater business is tough. That you have to be like a KGF 2 or RRR. Generally to really do well. Some of the biggest films they have not done well in the recent times, even on an Eid, which is something that I think has not happened in a long time. So how do you look at this OTT versus theater release and the fact that बहुत कम time पे अपने आप को register भी करा पाना आसान नहीं है, but somehow you managed to do that.
I was very skeptical on the whole thing of Khuda Haafiz going on OTT because it's a new space. A film that is made for the theaters is going on OTT. It's something that none of us even thought. We didn't know how it's going to be received, whether people are going to watch it. COVID के time पे लोग तो सब कुछ देख रहे थे, but they were being selective of the content that they watch. There was a lot going on in terms of nepotism and all of that was happening. We were still very worried कि मतलब will people watch because our lineup was such. We had Lakshmi Bomb Sadak, Big Bull, all of that releasing with us. Loot Case had just released before us. We were shocked with the response. Overnight, the amount of calls, messages, I remember from 500K, I shot up to 1.5 M.
Instagram.
Yeah. Because of
Khuda Haafiz. Right.
So it was crazy. Like my role, I believe, was not much. Like everybody kept telling me that we missed Nargis. We missed seeing Nargis's story on screen. If OTT पे आने के बाद लोग ये बोलेंगे, तो I actually thought that Khuda Haafiz 2 is going to be in theaters and it has to be a meteor role. People can't be saying the same thing about me. And there's a lot, I know that there's a lot of stuff that I can actually show in terms of my character on screen. And when I got to know from Farooq sir that the film is going to be releasing in theatres only, and he gave me a one-line brief of you'll be playing a mom now. I was shook. I was like, I am so young. लोग तो मुझे टाइपकास्ट करने वाले हैं अब तीसरी पिक्चर में मैं अगर मॉम का रोल प्ले करने वाली तो विद्युत वाज मेकिंग फन ऑफ मी विद्युत वाज टेलिंग मी अब तू चौथी में दादी बनेगी so I was like no I don't want to do this and all he's like read the script at least when I read the script I was blown firstly I felt a lot more comfortable because then I heard about the whole adoption factor coming into the picture we were speaking about a lot of social issues. So coming back to the topic, I felt this film was made for the theatres. I feel OTT is doing well, but yeah, in theatres, people are being selective of what they watch. For sure. For sure. But abhi tak jo bhi response aaya, I'm so very happy because people, whatever people thought was missing in the first part, they're seeing it in the second. Like everybody's been saying, there's this one comment that has come to me. First half Nargis ka hai, second half Sameer ka hai. In terms of action.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. And interestingly, पहले part में जो सारे promotions आपके थे वो Zoom call पे थे. I think second part, the sort of promotions that you've got must have been phenomenal. The way you've traveled, and I think that in itself, in terms of getting you the visibility, must have been superb.
We actually missed the promotion bit when Khuda Haafiz 1 was releasing. In fact, I hated the fact that we were doing Zoom call interviews. मतलब दिन के मतलब 6-7 interviews line up okay, and then you're sitting in front of the laptop. You can't meet people. I was not liking it. Nobody was liking it. This time, it was incredible. You're meeting your fans in different cities, going to malls, addressing people, going to theaters, watching the film with them. It's a different experience. I love it. I love meeting people. So,
okay,
yeah.
so अभी आपका from here on what is the game plan like? How have things started looking up?
So after this, I think I want to do things I have not done. A rom-com, comedy, more massy, entertainer, horror maybe. Something that actually I know that I can do intense films very well. But me doing like a more fun film is going to be a challenge for me. Okay. So I want to push myself to do that now.
Alright, so Shivaleeka, आपका अभी तक का आपका जो learning experience है वो क्या रहा है? मतलब मैं आपको example बताऊं कि that say you've been an AD, ADs बहुत से behind the scenes चीज़ें देखते हैं, experience करते हैं, जिसके बारे में I think शायद बहुत से लोगों को पता नहीं होता है. How the directors behave, how the actors behave, their tantrums, उनको ये चाहिए, उसको ये चाहिए.
Why are you asking?
नहीं, I'm coming to that. So now, considering that with you having done three films, for example, बहुत सी चीज़ें होती हैं, you know, how to maybe communicate with the directors and the producers and other team members that ways, because आपको ये पता नहीं है कि that industry में egos बहुत sensitive होती हैं लोगों की, कौन सी बात किसको क्या बुरी लग जाए कुछ पता नहीं है आपको, and it's very crucial to be sensible in tackling them. And how to do that, वो भी मेरे ख्याल से एक तरीके का आर्ट फॉर्म होता है अपने आप में. तो you're three film veteran as far as an actor is concerned. You've done 2 films as an AD. I'm using veteran as a fun sort of thing. So क्या आपके नज़र में analysis है? How do you look at things कि क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए? वो भी equally important है.
You know, the best part I feel is I was so young on a film set that I literally didn't think of anything of this sort. I had no knowledge. So I used to speak to everybody the same way. Though I used to look at Salman sir like he was my crush since I was a child. I used to actually shy away from him. But I used to speak to him like the way I used to speak to everybody else. So he used to be very amused with me. You know, he used to keep looking at me like, oh wow, okay, she talks to the spot boy also the same way. She talks to me also the same way. After a very, very long time, he sat with me and he asked me, how old are you? That is when he realized, okay, like this is nice. But honestly, I feel like in terms of the hierarchy on set, you get to know who does what only when you're on set. not in the pre-production space. In terms of the first AD does a particular job, the director takes calls, the producer has an even more call in terms of what goes where, though you don't see him much on set. So all of this I understood only being on set. Like I used to see Sajid sir much more in the office, and then I'm like, okay, so producers don't come on set. All this I actually understood when I started working. Yeah, you're right in terms of you have to speak to people in a particular way, but it comes out of respect also. Like Salman sir, Abhishek Bachchan, Akshay Kumar have done so much work that you naturally give them that kind of respect. For me, till date, I say Akshay sir. All my directors are sirs for me. In fact, even Khuda Haafiz. So many times Vidyut tells me, you're not an AD, Shivaleeka, just sit down. सब कुछ हो जाएगा. Why are you getting up? I have to go and I get up and I take my own water. He's like, just sit down. Your people are standing. So stuff like that. He reminds me that you're not an AD anymore. Just sit. But I'm used to being like that. Like I'm very approachable in that way. Also, I'm very down to earth. Like I know where I've started from, and I'm not taking that for granted.
Okay, so what sort of offers are coming your way? Would you like to do like a web show?
I would love to. I think the OTT space is doing very, very well. I'm all up for good content. So if the character, the script is full of that, I am up for it.
Okay.
It needs to be a meteor role. It can't be like a heroine just being in the background. I'm not doing that.
What sort of roles do you want to do?
I want to do meteor roles. Like I know what I'm capable of. Why should I just stand in a frame?
Like meteor roles as in how? Like any examples? Any?
Maybe something like my first. I think what I've done in my first film, I have yet not heard a script or a character like that, where actually a heroine has things to do.
Okay, all right, that's interesting. I think
Yeah.
I think I agree with what you're saying,
Yeah,
because
like I feel
the
Khuda Haafiz
first one-
2 for me is very different, because in an action film, honestly, like there's not much for a girl to do. But over here, there is an emotional story to it. So you see Nargis a lot in the second part. So I was very kicked about it when I heard the script. I felt like it was much more for me to do from the first part.
Okay, interesting. And how does your mother respond?
Lovely. They were crying in the
Acha,
theatre.
Okay.
My mom was crying. There's this one scene post-interval with Sheba ma'am. The whole theatre has slapped. So that is appreciation and reassurance of the kind of work you're doing. I honestly feel that my parents like everything that I do, but my mom is very critical. Like she'll tell me that इसमें ज़्यादा नहीं था, या इसमें अच्छा नहीं था, ये अच्छा हो सकता था. She's critical that way. But Khuda Haafiz too, so she's loved. She's cried. Screening में she's cried. Hi, I'm Shivaleeka Oberoi, and you are watching me on Bollywood Hungama.